tonight. So without wasting much time, I think right now we do not have pharmacist or Gabi presently in attendance. So we'll be giving the floor to the candidates that are available right now, and I don't know if pharmacist Choma Oparara is ready to give us to read the manifesto tonight.
Yes, I am.
All right, so you can share your screen and you have the floor. 5 minutes.
Okay, so it's saying that it's only the host that can share.
Okay, don't worry. Have you tried to share again?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, so you can go on actually, while we sort that. You've been allowed, like you've been given the permission to share your screen. So just try. Are you trying from your computer or your mobile device?
I'm trying from my phone.
Okay. So is it working now?
Yes, I'm on it.
Okay. Okay. So pharmacist Adeleke, are you ready, for your own manifesto? So while pharmacist Choma, is sorting our own, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so pharmacist Adeleke, pharmacist Adeleke is the aspirant running for the post of the public relations officer and is ready to give us his manifesto. So you have the floor, pharmacist Adeleke. Kindly share your screen. You have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Madelike, are you having difficulty, sharing your screen?
Yes, I am having difficulty in sharing. I'm on it.
Okay, Pharmacist Choma, you're set.
So I've been trying to share. Is it possible I send the document to the host to
Right,
help me
send it.
share?
Yeah, you can send it right away. Madelike, you can send the document to the host as well.
Okay.
Um, Hello, I logged in. I logged out and logged in again. Can you please make me a co-host? Thank you. So who should I send the slides to? Because
Send
I'm having, it's
send it,
not sharing at all.
send it to the host.
Okay.
So are you also trying to share from your mobile device?
Yes, I'm trying to share from my mobile device, and the options for sharing slides are not there. So I don't know what's wrong.
Okay. Right, so kindly do that, fast so that we don't waste so much time.
See my slide.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see my slide.
Yeah, I can see your slide.
Oh, okay. So good evening, House. I'm Adeleke Adekunle, and I'm running for the position of the Public Relations Officer, PSN-YPG Lagos. So here's my manifesto. So introduction, I am Adeleke Adekunle. I'm a pharmacist and academic tutor, and I'm running for the position of the Public Relations Officer, PSN-YPG Lagos. I'm passionate about public relations, mental health, and content creation. And my core values are excellence, service, synergy, ebullience, novelty, creativity, and equality. So I have served in various leadership experience. I was the editor-in-chief Pans Unilag. I was the president of the Faculty of Pharmacy Debate Society. I was the member of the Media and Publicity Committee, also the coordinator for 2021. I was the director of Socials for 30 Beautiful Minds, and I've received a lot of awards and recognitions for my leadership and academic exploits. So my constitutional duties as the public relations officer, I want to read sharply. First is to act as the editor-in-chief for the chapter. I shall also help with the publicity and of activities of this chapter. I'll regulate all the media platforms, such as the social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and so on. And in the absence of the general secretary, I would be the one to summon the meetings, and I also carry out every duty that was assigned to me as the state by the state coordinator. So I'm the current media and publicity coordinator, and I've worked with the current with the PRO, the outgoing PRO, and these are some of my efforts as the current media and publicity coordinator. I co-hosted the Chasing the Tides Ypg Lagos Beach Out Hangout. I'm the anchor of the Ypg Lagos Friday Frenzy on Clubhouse, which is the first social audio app activity for any YPG group. I'm a co-anchor for the Ypg Lagos PPAC project. That's the Pharmacy Profession Awareness Campaign project. I've gone for about 3 or 4, and I'm the one that even created the slides and the materials that we use for the PPAC project. I'm the director of publicity for the Ypg Lagos Week and the dinner committee. I'm the co-director of various multimedia campaigns, social media manager for the Twitter and Instagram, and I've moderated a lot of educative webinars for Ypg Lagos. I attended the Ypg Lagos YPG annual conference and the PSN conference in Port Harcourt as a Ypg Lagos delegate, and I hosted the first general meeting. So I'll move on to my plans for Ypg Lagos in general. First things first, I would ensure the continuity of existing projects, such as the publication, the annual magazine, the release of the Pantheon X publication. I'll also ensure that the Quirky Prime, which is a bi-monthly newsletter and editorial contribution, I would ensure the continuity of that. It is a very amazing concept. And also I'll ensure that the social media, we have significant social media buzz content, such as the Man Crush Monday, the Woman Crush Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Casalati Box, and the Reimagined on Clubhouse, as I mentioned earlier. So I also have some new innovations, which are also my plans for PSN-YPG Lagos. The first one is the Storm the Yard, which is going to be a quarterly visit to pharmaceutical organizations with large density of young pharmacists. We check on them regularly and we interact with them physically. It will be a quarterly visit. And then also YPG Lagos merchandise. We don't have a merchandise as Lagos YPs. Most of the time, we often wear the ones that we got from either companies, public health outreach, or the one that we got from the Abuja conference. So I also have the Arts in Pharmacy exhibition. A lot of young pharmacists are into arts, and right now, we've seen a lot of NFT trends, a lot of creativity trends, and I believe that if we can have an Arts in Pharmacy exhibition, we have a variety of arts in medicine exhibitions, so we can also have the Arts in Pharmacy exhibition because we have a lot of young pharmacists that are very talented, creative, and are out there doing amazing things. So the Arts in Pharmacy exhibition is an exhibition for young pharmacists to show their art, and even people that are not even artists, they can also try out painting and so many other wonderful activities revolving around creativity and art. And also it will be incorporated either to the Lagos Week, which will come almost at the end of the tenure, or the annual conference, which is happening in Lagos. Also, mental health service provision. Yeah, mental health service provision will collaborate with agencies like the 30 Beautiful Minds, like the Mentally Aware Nigeria. So we'll have mental health service provision for young pharmacists. We also have a social media page dedicated to that service. We also have there'll also be formation of the design team, media team, and editorial team. Basically, these teams will be filled with volunteers, and these volunteers also benefit from specific trainings, mentorship, and opportunity as a result of their volunteerism. We also have multimedia awareness campaigns that's multimedia presentations for major health days, inclusive of TV and radio shows, mass media, as well as social media campaigns. There will also be physical and fun activities such as the beach out and cleanup, excursion relaxation activities, as well as interzonal sports competition. One thing I will ensure in my tenure as the PRO is to ensure collaborations with other executives with Parents Unilag, with NGOs, with other YPG groups in Nigeria, and most importantly, with pharmaceutical companies that will sponsor our events. On this note, I want you to vote Adeleke Adekunle Faid for PSN-YPG YPG Lagos Public Relations Officer. Thank you very much.
Sure. All right. Beautiful one. That was the manifesto from the aspirants running for the public relations of public office of the public relations officer. Thank you for that one. And we'll be receiving questions from the audience and also from the electoral committee. So without wasting more time, Pharmacist Adeleke Adekunle, how do you intend, engagement, from pharmacists and young pharmacists in Lagos on our social media platform? And how do you translate that, to being, more committed members and more interested members?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. The easiest way to get people to follow us or to be more active on social media is if we have more engaging more engaging content. And like I said earlier, I'm going to ensure that we have a lot of relatable and engaging content. We have some that are already in.
No, go on.
Somebody, okay. We have some that is already in existence. That's the Man Crush Monday, Woman Crush Monday, Woman Crush Wednesday, the Throwback Thursday pictures, and so on. So we are going to make sure that as a team, as collaborating with the Media and Publicity Committee, we are going to make sure that we have content that is regular and that people can relate to. And we also follow social media trends. We know that social media, at least every week, there is a particular trend. We'll make sure that we try to be as professional as possible. At the same time, we are very relatable for people to relate with our content. At the same time, we're having a close network with young pharmacists by having many of them in zonal groups. The outgoing PRO has done a very good job in ensuring that a lot of YPs are in WhatsApp groups, zonal WhatsApp groups. So that's a very easy way for us to reach out to them in a local zone. At least, we can send zone-related content to each WhatsApp groups. So as the Media and Publicity Coordinator, as media, I've done a lot in that regards, but as soon as I become the PRO, I will ensure that we go higher and we release more content, and we ensure that YPs relate and relate with our content on all our social media platforms, particularly our YouTube, because of all the social media outlets, our YouTube has the lowest interactions. So we are going to ensure that we have YouTube-friendly content.
Why do you think you had very low, interaction with the YouTube channel this year?
Yeah, the issue with the low interaction with YouTube is because of it's more difficult to create visual content, like video content, than pictorial content. So YouTube, basically, you have to have a good camera, like someone that can, a video editor. It involves a lot of strategies to have like worthy content that can be posted on YouTube. Basically, our YouTube for the tenure has been like a platform for people to rewatch our Zoom sessions. So that's what YouTube has been. And at the beginning of the tenure, I know that we started with 50 subscribers, and by now we have over 100 subscribers. But by the time we start having, hopefully we would have call outs for video editors. I know of a few that I've spoken to and are willing to join the Media and Publicity team. So when we have capable video editors, they can help out with having YouTube-friendly videos that would then increase engagement.
Thank you so much. I would like to state that before this tenure, the YouTube channel Was a bit functioning. Yes, I think we had some posts, not necessarily live stream, but we had some posts to the previous 10 years. But that aside, we promised to resuscitate and make it more interactive. Brilliant. And lastly, would you like to state what has been you played a crucial role in this year with regards to public relations? What has been the challenge this year, that you faced, and how do you intend overcoming those challenges when you are if you're elected as a public relations officer?
Okay, the biggest challenge had been, I would say, manpower. The well,
Also,
okay, manpower regarding most for the media and publicity committee, for example, we only have one designer um, that was really, really good. We had other designers, but their work was not um, as good as this particular designer. So a lot of burden was on this one person to like put out so much content that we put out for all the committees. Public health relies on this person, media and publicity relies on this, education and training relies on this same one designer.
are
So
you
as
saying
early and the,
From Adelika, are you saying we don't have enough graphic designers in YPG or even outside YPG? Are you saying we don't have enough, or
I'm not saying we don't have enough. I'm stating the issue that we had current um with what we with the current status quo, like the issue that we have currently. What I'm
how do you
saying is
intend?
that the amount of graphic designers that we have, um,
How do you intend, finding solution to that?
yes, the solution is as early as possible. We are going to have a call out for volunteers, graphic designers, and as early as possible, we're going to have trainings for the ones that are not so good. So I've spoken to someone who is willing to train them on a few skills that will optimize their current skills. So at the end of the day, they'll be much better than they were last time, and the content that they give out will be much better than what they gave out last year. So we have more hands on deck. So that's why I mentioned there will be design teams, there will be media teams. So as much as they are volunteering for us, they'll also be having specific trainings to also improve their skills and eventually improve the output that they are giving out.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you very much, Adeleke, for sharing with us your ideas. Wish you good luck and all the best. So, thank you. We'll be having Pharmacist Chioma Opaolara, pardon me, not
Thank
sure,
you.
running for the post of treasurer. Pharmacist Chioma, are you ready now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you have the floor.
Okay. Good evening, distinguished pharmacists. My name is Pharmacist Opalara Choma, running for the post of treasurer for PSN-YPG Lagos chapter. So, a brief introduction. My name is Pharmacist Opalara Stephanie Choma, and I'm a graduate of University of Lagos 2019 set. I'm currently serving at the Nigerian Port Authority Clinic. In the past years, I've had several trainings and experiences in community, hospital, and regulatory pharmacy. I've been actively involved in several PSN-YPG projects through committees, such as the Partnership and Sponsorship Committee, and also currently in 2021, the Project Committee. So what are my goals for young pharmacists in Lagos? So first of all, I'll work closely with other executives to make sure that we achieve our set goals, whatever we have set out to achieve in this tenure would actually work closely to achieve and to serve young pharmacists effectively. Secondly, I would ensure that there is judicious utilization of funds, the funds in my care, through accurate and meticulous documentation and also proper management. Thirdly, I'll plan to make funds and disbursements transparent to young pharmacists by making financial reports available for it to be out there and for it to be clear on what we're doing so that other young pharmacists can know what is going on. Then lastly, I'll liaise with individuals, health organizations, other chapters, other young pharmacists from other states to ensure and to support in the interest of young pharmacists in Lagos through partnership and sponsorship. So why am I the best candidate? Why am I the best candidate for the post of treasurer? I'm honest, transparent, accountable, and trustworthy. Then I've brought on myself to actually serve young pharmacists diligently and in all capacity as a treasurer. I'm a good financial manager and have the required skills to manage funds, as I've coordinated outreaches in places I've worked in, community pharmacies I've worked in. I've handled money. I've literally been in charge of making sure that outreaches are actually coordinated and organized to achieve success. Then I was involved in welfare committees back in my undergraduate days, where we are assigned to take care of different activities and projects, and where we planned and organized events. So in conclusion, a vote for me is a vote for the best candidate. So let's all come out as young pharmacists in Lagos to vote and push our association forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Pharmacist Chioma, for that brief and succinct presentation, straight to the point. What what your plans are. This is just to implore the audience to we are allowed to ask candidates questions. Let's just indicate, and then we'll be given the floor. Yeah. So, Pharmacist Chioma, oftentimes in recent past, we've seen treasurers, members of the executive committee, going beyond mm, their constitutional rules or beyond their position, just to
Yeah.
to help the association.
Yeah.
Do you have plans, and as stated by the constitution anyway, the treasurer um, is the treasurer is mandated, to carry out other duties as assigned by the state coordinator. So, do you have, if do you think you are, creative, or you have, the will, to do other things, or your plan is just to stick to your constitutional role, to this position
Okay.
that you're, yeah.
So, like I stated, I've been involved in making sure that projects in Ypg Lagos chapter are actually successful through different committees. So I don't have plans of just staying one place and being treasurer and just doing my constitutional duties. I have plans of working with my executive, bringing out ideas, making sure that this tenure is actually one that is better than the last one. So I have plans of actively getting involved and actively bringing out ideas for the success and the the growth of YPG Lagos.
Okay, thank you for that. So we have a question from the audience from B with questions goes to us. How would you rate the current treasurer in relation to any specific activities that he did? First of all, do you know who the present treasurer is?
Yes, Bukola.
Okay. How would you rate, their performance? The question says, how would you rate the current treasurer in relation to any specific activities that she did? Yeah.
Okay, so I would rate her, let's say 100%.
No, you need to be
Yes.
you need to be because
Okay, let me just say, just
do you understand the
very
question?
generous.
Do you understand the question?
You said, how would I rate her in relation to
specific activities? So you don't have to, you can't generalize, you can't say 100%. So
no, I was coming to a specific activity.
okay.
So in this last Lagos, the opening ceremony that we just did, she has been actively involved in committees, in groups. I was there, I saw her, I really admired her the active role that she played.
Just rate like 20% or 40% or
okay, because I rated over 100. Okay, 20. Is it over 20?
100 or over 10? Please let's mute our mics. If we are not given the chance to speak, please let's mute our mics.
I'll rate her 9 over 10.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So so is that all? Is that all? Is that all she has done so far this year?
Yeah, based on that, I'll rate her.
Okay, so we have another question. What other skills would you be bringing to the team aside what is required for the traditional role?
Okay, so I'll be bringing my communication skills, interpersonal skills, working one-on-one with people. Then also my analytical skills and software skills, programming, and designs and other things. So.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Okay. Do we have other questions? Do we have other questions to ask these candidates? Pharmacist Timika, I hope she answered your questions right. So, Pharmacist Choma, do you understand the question? Like, what other skills would you be bringing to the team, aside, what is required of the traditional role, like aside bookkeeping, right, as a treasurer, aside, like, for example, I heard you, say software engineering. I don't think that would be applicable. So, we're talking about skills that, that would translate towards helping the executive know, or young pharmacists. Do you want to give the question a go again?
Okay, so so skills working with the executives, or
so just highlight the skills you think would be beneficial to the executive committee aside bookkeeping as treasurer, or do you understand, or documentation. Do you get the questions? Like, what other skills, what other ways do you think you might come in, like, regards to probably creativity? What other things do you think?
Okay, so like I said, design and software. I mean, I love designs, creativity, like you said. So I would actually like what Starboy said. So I would work with him in that aspect to make sure that we move our social media forward. Then analytical skills also.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any special plans for fundraising?
Any special plans for fundraising? No, no special plans for fundraising now, but to work with the team.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks for your honesty. I'm sure young pharmacists are listening, and you know, we wish you all the best. So I just want to state that we might still come back to you. We might still come back to all the candidates, including the PRO. The audience might still decide to ask you questions. So just still be on, still just be ready, and ready to answer those questions as they come by. So the third aspirant that will be giving. So thank you, Pharmacist Chioma. Thank you for the session. I wish you all the best.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so right now we'll be having Pharmacist Joyce Ogabi, the candidate running for position of the Assistant General Secretary, and she would be blowing our minds with our plans, for the year, and um, let's just be, let's prepare our mind. Pharmacist Joyce, are you there?
Good evening.
Good evening, Pharmacist Joyce. So are you ready, are you ready to present your manifesto?
Yes, I'm trying to locate my document. I was unable to convert to PDF, so I have to share it as an image.
Okay. You have 5 minutes for your presentation, and then and share your screen. Let's have it.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joyce Ogabi. I'm a corporate pharmacist at Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, and I'm aspiring for the position of Assistant General Secretary. I chose this position because I see this new administration as an opportunity to add my own quota to the work that's already been going on in the association. And the chapter has done really well in the past and has accomplished a lot. And I want to contribute to the next administration. I selected the position of Assistant General Secretary to ensure proper documentations of plans and activities of the organization. As much as it's good to have plans in place, it will be limited if there's no proper documentation of those plans so as to follow them up in carrying them out. I plan to assist the General Secretary in fulfilling his or her duties, including the chapter's correspondence and documentation. I plan to actively engage in the affairs of the association. One of the things I also want to accomplish is to create awareness of the importance of PSN-YPG among new graduates of pharmacy, that people just leaving the university. I noticed a lot of young pharmacists are still not very conversant with the whole idea of the society, and it's important for us to have more participants. That way we can accomplish more. So I plan to achieve this by, each time the various places of internship, when they take in new interns, I plan to work with the executive team to welcome them, to pass out information to them from time to time like that, so they can all know, because everyone is coming from different states, from different universities, and they might not be aware of what PSN-YPG is all about. I plan to do that. Please give me, sorry for the interruption. I have to get my other page. Okay. I also plan to, okay, I already said that. So I'm suitable for this position because I'm very organized. I do a lot of organization and I pay attention to details. In my previous role, the PLSP program, I'm a team leader and I've been in charge of, taking information and keeping documentation, things like that. And I believe that has given me some experience to handle documentation on a larger scale. Also, I'm dedicated to the progress of this association. I intend to ensure proper documentation by creating separate folders for various matters, as well as using the various Microsoft Office tools we have for the different documentation necessary. I plan to also apply skills from my personal experience, organizing my own documents, organizing my own files, and also making sure things are well organized and well documented for the association. Okay. Thank you very much. That will be all from my end.
Okay, thank you, Pharmacist Joyce, for stating your plans for the association. So, just to be sure, as the Assistant General Secretary, can you just state your constitutional rules, as written in the Lagos bylaws?
My roles are basically to assist the General Secretary to fulfill all his duties and also to stand in for him when he's not available, except the position of the state coordinator, which I'm not authorized to do. Also, when I have other duties, maybe meted out to me by the state coordinator, I'm to carry it out as well.
Is that all?
Yes, essentially. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, can you tell us, briefly, what you think, the office of the General Secretary and the Assistant General Secretary, what challenges you think we are currently facing, and how do you think, if you are elected, how do you think, how do you, plan to, create solutions to those challenges?
I don't know the challenges that you're facing currently, but possible challenges that could be faced by such an office.
Sorry? Pharmacist Choice, are you there? Pharmacist Joyce? Okay. Pharmacist Joyce, are you still there? So I think she's going to join us again. We think she's probably having issues with her connection. I think she's having issues with her connection. She will join us. So we are almost rounding off. But I will be taking one more question from the audience for the position of treasurer. So Pharmacist Choma, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
So this question is quite direct. Are you familiar with the Farmer Gateway? The question goes thus: how will you ensure YPs will use the Farmer Gateway to effectively make payments?
Okay. Yes, I am familiar with the Farmer Gateway platform, payment platform. for the pharmaceutical industry. So I would ensure that we get familiar with the process and how to make payments by showing demonstrations, maybe create a day or once in a month to show demonstrations to young pharmacists on how to make easy payment on the platforms. Then to constantly remind them through broadcasts um, on through broadcast, sorry, to make payments on the platform.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that answer. So I don't think we have further questions. I don't think we have questions from the audience. It's quite sad that pharmacist Joyce is not available. We have questions for Ada. So we're trying to reach her to know what the problem is. So hopefully she joins us before we end this session of Manifesto Night. While we wait for pharmacist Joyce, I just want to acknowledge the presence of, leaders, YPG leaders here. We have the immediate past chairman of Young Pharmacists Group, Pharmacist Ypg Lagos. We also have the present state coordinator of Ypg Lagos, Pharmacist Bayomi Emmanuel. We also have the former electoral chairman of Ypg Lagos, Pharmacist B, where you come. Glad to have you guys here. So we still have some questions for the aspirants here, and we'll be having those questions. So Pharmacist B, do you want to ask the question, directly, or you'd rather have it through the chat? Pharmacist Yimika also have a question. She also has a question for okay, through chat. So you can just send in your questions. We have very few minutes to go, and then so Pharmacist Adeleke, we have questions for you. Are you ready to answer them? Pharmacist Adeleke, are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. So this is from the state coordinator. The question goes to the art exhibition plan for young pharmacists. How many young pharmacists in Lagos have you identified that are into arts? And you could list their names if possible, so we know if such a program, can be a reality, if it's realistic. Do you get the question?
Okay. Yes, I got the question.
Okay, so answer the question.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm trying to.
So you don't have to list
How many young pharmacists are in Lagos have had?
Yeah.
Okay, listen. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've gotten it now. Yeah,
Okay.
so right now, offhand, I know of 3, but there are more. I know of Francis Jide. I know of Ambeke on at Francis Jide on Instagram, at Ambeke on Instagram, and Tune Art. There's even Shebi Omoto. All of them, they are into art. Those are 4 people I can call from my head, but there are more people. And at the same time, the art exhibition is not only for confirmed artists. It can also be a form of expression for people that want to just try art, such as like all these paint and sip classes. It's just something to show diversity of pharmacists and also follow the trend of NFTs and art that is going out in the past year.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very much aware it involves a lot of resources, but there are so many things YPG Lagos has tried over the years that we believed was not possible, but we're able to handle it. So I'm very sure if we have the right resources and we are dedicated to this, obviously it's not going to be only me handling this, with the executives and the committee members. If we really see the importance of this, which I see, if we can do this and we can make it possible.
So, thank you. I think you've answered the question. So we also have another question here. As the image maker of PSN-YPG Lagos, right? What would you do? What would you do differently from the current administration? What are your specific branding objectives for YPG Lagos in the next 1 year?
Oh, okay. I just got the question now. As the
Yeah.
What are the specific branding objectives for PSN-YPG Lagos? Okay, as regarding branding, the specific branding for PSN-YPG Lagos is, for me, as much as we are an interest group of PSN, the national PSN and on its own, I want us to be, as much as we are an interest group, the goal for this year is to be an independent, I will not say the word independent, but to be seen as an entity, like a standout entity, as an individual brand on its own. So we don't necessarily have to rely on our parent group to access certain opportunities. So basically, we are going to do a lot of we are going to have a lot of exposure, especially on social media. We are going to try to connect with brands and work with them like collaborations. Okay, for example, the previous this current tenure, we had a collaboration with Emzo Pharmaceuticals, and basically we had to come up with some form of jingles or a concept, basically. So if the goal is to, the reason why I think Emzo reached out to us or reached out to YPG as a whole is because of they see them as an independent, like an individual entity. I don't want to use the word independent, as an individual entity. So if we can capitalize on such collaborations, we optimize our social media platforms to the maximum, especially the YouTube, for example. If we can optimize it, we have contents that are targeted for YouTube specifically. We can be seen as an individual entity, and we can capitalize on that. So I don't know if I've answered the person's question. I'm not even sure.
Well, we'll take that. Even though I'm not sure you actually hit the nail on the head, so the question was talking about, specific branding objectives, so what are your objectives what are your objectives specifically for the next 1 year? But that's fine. There is one question here from Pharmacist B, but I'd like you to take your time, before you answer that. So while you go through that question, I'm sure you have access to the chat box. We'll be asking Pharmacist Joyce.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Are you? No.
Are you with me? There's a question from Pharmacist B on the chat box, so you can just go through, and I'm giving you time to go through it so that you can process it, and then, I think we've been asking a lot of questions today, so you deserve, a little bit of fresh air. So we'll be asking Pharmacist Joyce, are you back? There's a question for you here.
I'm back now.
Okay, so quite, your question is quite simple, So from Pharmacist Chado Jubril, yes, Filling the void, your constitutional rule states that, of course, you are going to be Assistant General Secretary. Apart from documentation, what other things do you bring to the table? Are you planning to bring to the table in the absence of the General Secretary? I think you've answered that, but you can just reiterate, like, yeah.
You're talking about my other plans, right? Aside the normal functions of the Assistant General Secretary.
Yeah, apart from your duties as Assistant General Secretary, you can be called upon. The General Secretary might just be absent and you might need to fill into that role. So, what plans do you have? Okay, for example, now if you are elected in as the AGS, and then you are being called upon to be General Secretary, do you have plans at all for that role?
Okay.
You could possibly become the General Secretary. Do you have plans at all if you are called upon to be General Secretary?
Yes. I believe if I'm elected, working with the General Secretary, I'll be able to gather enough experience to know exactly what needs to be done, so that in his absence, I can fill his shoes adequately.
Come again.
Did you get that?
No, come again. I'm not sure we got that.
Okay, I said that while I worked as a General Secretary, like in the past, I believe if I'm elected into office, I would have experience working with the General Secretary, the current General Secretary, or the General Secretary that will be elected, and I'll be able to fill in his or her shoes when necessary if I'm called upon to do that.
Okay. So, what specific gap have you identified in YPG Lagos, and how do you intend to fill it for the betterment of all YPs?
Well, the gap I've identified, I've spoken of.
Pharmacist Joyce, are you there? Pharmacist Joyce, are you still there? Okay, I think we lost that there. So thank you very much for that question, Pharmacist Chadu Jubril. Pharmacist Chadu Jubril is the former National Assistant General Secretary, and we're glad to have him here as well. We have quite a number of YPG leaders here. It's been a very good session. So, Pharmacist Adekunle, are you ready for that last question? Do you have an answer for that? So I'm going to read out the question. Pharmacist Adekunle, are you there? Aspirants running for the public relations officer position.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I'm going to read it out. PSN, it's a case scenario. PSN-YPG Lagos has an upcoming business development academy to be launched in April 2022. The goal is to be able to enroll at least 100 YPs who have to register with 5,000 naira. Today is February 26th, but the planning committee is not yet ready for publicity. This can impede the number of registrations. What would you do to salvage this? One. And secondly, what specific plans do you have to ensure timeliness of publicity, avoiding rush publicity? Third, what do you think about relations between PSN-YPG Lagos and external organizations such as FIP-YPG?
Okay, I'm trying to read the question again. I'll run through it now. Business.
Pharmacist Adekunle, I believe you are given time, to study this question. You should be firing already. We are almost rounding up. That's the last question for the day.
Oh, okay. So the first question is, what would you do to salvage this? Okay, so basically we have at least 5 weeks to the event. The academy is supposed to be launched in 5 weeks. So I believe, and we need 100 YPs. Based on my previous experience, if we target about 100 YPs, usually we start publicity at least 2 months to reach out to 100 YPs for even events that don't require money to pay. So what would I do to salvage this? Yes, aside from in YPG Lagos, as much as we have planning committee, the media and publicity committee is always standby, and most of the time as much as they collaborate with planning committee, we're always ready for things like this. So definitely, what we are going to do to salvage this is, as soon as we good communication with the planning committee, and once we realize that there is any issue, we are going to work on independently with the planning committee's guidance, but the media and publicity committee can come in on their own to push publicity for the matter before it gets out of hand. We have 5 weeks to do that according to the timeline that was given in this case scenario. So I believe that pushing enough content with the designers making designs, we can work on that. Another thing again is one-on-one conversation. In the committees, we can create WhatsApp groups and show them the importance of this business development training. We have word of mouth, we have DMs, we send a message via DMs. We would also push out display several displays to also show the importance of this, and also show the benefits of their money also. So what specific plans do you have to ensure timeliness of publicity? First things first, like I said, the media and publicity team will always be on ground, like at all time, ready for any quick change in time or any quick change in the timeline. But the most important thing is communication. We would ensure that there is communications within every committee group, whether it's the general planning committee or is a specific committee in YPG Lagos. I believe if there is strong communication, any problem will be foreseen and we're able to handle that to avoid rush publicity. So the most important thing, I know there are some real life cases where a date of an event will change because the hall that we booked was cancelled. I've personally faced all those kind of things where we have to even right now with the dinner committee, we were pushing publicity regardless of the fact that we didn't even have a hall. At the venue, we put undisclosed, which is just a concept to kind of like show that this is still happening, even though there's still some uncertainty. So regardless of I have the experience of pushing publicity regardless of the plan going on so fine. And lastly, what do you think about the relations between PSN-YPG Lagos and the external organization like FIP-YPG? I strongly believe that the relationship is very strong. Personally, on our social media handle, we have a lot of one-on-one interactions with FIP, YPG. They interact with our content, we interact with theirs. So on that level, we have significant relationship on the social media space. In another aspect again is young pharmacists in Lagos engaging in their activities. Even right now, we publicize the mentorship program that kickstarted at the end of last month, the FIP YPG mentorship, and a lot of young pharmacists that we shared the broadcast to. They joined FIP YPG, and they are part of they submitted applications for the mentoring session. So I believe the relationship is strong, but I know that it can always get stronger. And as regards politics, like having young pharmacists in Lagos occupying positions in FIP subcommittees and so on. So regarding that, I believe it is currently strong. There's an established relationship between YPG Lagos in particular with FIP YPG, and I believe that in coming years, especially this next tenure, we'll work towards fostering the already established relationship. So
thank you for that, You've actually tried this evening, and it seems quite a number of people are quite interested in, in you and what your plans are for the year. So, the overall, you've actually given your all, and it shows that you are, you prepared well towards this manifesto. So thank you so much. I would like to appreciate the audience and everyone who has participated in this manifesto, the first session. Tomorrow we'll be having, the position, the post of General Secretary, which has been contested for, and also this post of the State Coordinator. So tomorrow promises to be much more interesting than today, and let's prepare better towards that. Let's come early, and let's come, with brilliant questions just like we've had today for our aspirants, and I'm very, very sure, would would be having a good session tomorrow. Thank you very much for everyone, and would be closing the manifesto right now, and it's good night to everyone. Yeah, goodbye.